Hey everyone, welcome to the Fin Factor Live Edition. I am Paul.
And I'm Aaron.
And we are here to take your comments and your questions. Aaron has the laptop out and he's avidly checking through the comments.
Sure.
So if you
fun night tonight.
you've got something you want to get off your chest, I'm sure you do. Go ahead and type that right in there, and we'll get to you as soon as we possibly can. So, actually, this week we talked about the 4 games that we had. Let's see, we started off in Detroit, went to Pittsburgh, and then after that, what was the game before Washington again? I can't remember. Columbus, and then Washington. And I think if you told me we were going to play those 4 teams, come home with, or not come home, but get past that week with 5 points, I'd be pretty happy, but I would have thought that it might have gone a different way. I think I would have thought that the Detroit game, we would have had the dub. But Sharks keep it interesting, don't they?
Would it be better if they beat Detroit and lost in regulation to Washington?
Well, yeah, because then that would be 6 points.
But, I mean, would you feel better about that?
No, I wouldn't.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I hear you. Yeah.
It is what it is.
Yep, there you go. So, once again, yeah, we are ready to rock here. So, any sort of comments, questions that you guys have, feel free. Do you have any right now? Or
Yeah, Joseph liked that fade-in. That was nice.
Oh, you're welcome.
And Andrea said, "What's up, dudes? Go Sharks. What a game today." Juan Blee Sanchez says, "Dell is the new starter." We'll get to that.
We'll get to that
later. Well, today's game was a roller coaster from Karina.
Mm-hmm.
Andres also said, "Can Paul dab on the show? So random, but it would be cool."
Yeah, I got yelled at for doing that actually, so that's the only time you're gonna get it. I got it because of a request.
Do it again. You got the zoom in.
It's not gonna do it that close up now.
I
It's too late
when you're doing it.
It's too late.
Aaron will do it.
Nope.
Yeah, Aaron will do it.
No. I'll probably throw my microphone.
If you super chat Aaron, he'll do it. Promise you. Go ahead. What else?
I've ever dabbed. Is it time to sell?
Tickets.
No, I'm sorry. Look, okay, they may not make playoffs.
I'm still holding out hope that I don't look stupid by saying that they're still going to make playoffs. They still have a chance. They're still in it for now. They're still in it.
Look, so mathematically speaking, yes, they still have a chance, right? I know a lot of you are using that as your argument. Mathematically speaking, they have a chance. Realistically, they have no chance. That's your argument. My argument is, no, we lost to Detroit, yes, but we just dominated the Washington Capitals for 59 minutes.
Yeah, that's their problem.
You know,
it wasn't 60.
But this is progress, people.
It wasn't
this is progress.
65 either.
You know what? It's progress, and I'll tell you why. We had 40 solid minutes, right, was the problem earlier in the season. We played 2 solid periods of hockey, and then the last 20 minutes, they kind of shut it down. And if you remember, there was a 45-minute span where we did really well, and the last 15 minutes in whatever game that was, they kind of lost their way. Now you're getting 59 minutes of solid hockey. It's just that 1 minute killed them today. Really is what it comes down to.
That 1 minute lost them a point.
That 1 minute lost them an extra point. And really what it comes, that 1 point though.
That's a row though.
Yeah,
not
but
even
it's
a row.
1 point.
An RW now.
Yeah, an RW. You're right.
It's a big deal.
Yeah, it is.
Because it's going to come down to points, and then they're going to need tiebreakers. I guarantee it.
Probably will. Are they still a playoff team? I feel like they still can be. I think they're still there. When you talk about the teams that we just beat, I think this team has the ability to score points on when it comes to the standings and whatnot. I think they have the ability to do it still. Again, when I look at our top defensemen, Carlson and Burns, and I'm going, they haven't really played that great for long stretches. That to me, again, is, call me crazy, that to me is kind of the encouraging part of this. If they were playing to the best of their ability, if the entire team was playing to the best of their ability, and we were still losing in the way that we had been losing, I'd be a lot more worried. The fact is, there's still room for us to play better, play where we're supposed to be playing.
Andres gave us $4.99 to dab at the same time.
God, no, yeah, start with him. Why? What do you want this? Why would you possibly want
probably
this?
Screenshotting.
You can do it? You can do it?
I don't even know how to do it.
Yeah, I don't. You just put your, like you're gonna cough, right?
Yeah.
Just like that, and then you just put the other arm up the other way. That's all it is.
Do I do my left arm or my right
It doesn't
arm?
matter.
Which way are you gonna do it?
I can't believe
I don't
we're
want to
gonna
hit
do
you.
this. Huh? It doesn't matter. Just do it fast. Ready? 1, 2, 3.
They are there.
They're totally going to screenshot that.
Stupid.
All right. Anyway, that should just be our thumbnail. So get ahead of them, Jason. Just get ahead of them. That'll be the thumbnail.
That'll go on the homepage.
From Zach Croft. Thanks for joining us. I think you're in Toronto. There's no heart on this team, and there's no progress if you give up 2 goals with 1 minute left in the game.
Yeah, no, I agree with you on that. That's you can't do that. Now let's take a look at those goals though. There's the one was the failed clear. Goodrow, I think, dumps it straight into whoever it was on the boards there.
playing.
Patty Marlowe, we just took a look at the clip.
Yeah.
Patty Marlowe, if you pause that, if you freeze frame it, and you don't even have to do that, just watch it. I mean, he's leaning forward. He's got his leg in like full sprint position. He's ready to go. He's ready to get up out of that zone and get an empty net goal. I mean, for me, forget that. There's still guys behind you. Barclay Goodrow had one guy to beat, and he couldn't beat him. And then I think there was maybe one guy in front of Patrick Marlowe.
It was like he whiffed on the puck.
No, I think he hit him.
Or he hit it.
I think he hit. I had to take a look at it again. Maybe you guys. I don't know. But basically, it was a failed clear attempt, and you've got guys jumping out of the zone or getting ready to jump out of the zone.
Man, when you're up 2 goals, ice the puck. I don't care.
Yeah.
Ice it. You don't have to. 1 goal, you shouldn't ice it. 2 goals, I don't care. Ice it as many times as you need.
Now,
doesn't matter.
Now, if you take a look at the third goal against today, and I love how this show is basically going to be all about how the epic collapse. Never mind the fact that we had 5 out of a possible 8 points against 3 teams that were like one of the better teams in the league. Okay, and so this is a doomsday episode, right? So okay, you take a look at that third goal. Now he gets it. He's got his back to Jones. Jones has no idea where this puck is going. He wheels around and fires it, and it goes in. Could Jones have stopped that puck? Yeah, sure, maybe he could have. That's a really hard one to pick up. When a guy's wheeling around like that, that's really hard to pick up. It's almost like a backhander. It's hard to pick up a backhand shot because the way that the curve of the stick is, it's hard to tell where that puck's going to go flying off, right? When the curve's the correct direction, you have a better idea. When it's the backhand, it's really hard to tell which way it's going to fly off of the stick and which way that puck's going to go. So that shot where he wheels around, Jones is trying to pick that one up like kind of like as it's happening. He can't really like see the shot. So that one, I mean, again, I'm not making excuses here, but that's a tough shot to save. Now the fourth goal that goes in though, that one he was set. He was hugging the post. He was square, maybe a little bit deep, but he has to respect that there's guys on the opposite side and that pass can go across. It goes kind of in that slot area and it just gets fired up over his shoulder. Could he have saved that? Absolutely. Should he have saved that? Yeah, probably should have saved that one. The game-tying goal, to me, that one's one that not he has to have, but he should have. He could have had that one, right? The game winner, he was sliding like crazy. I don't know why he didn't just do like a T-push and get over there and still stand up.
I mean, I think he probably thought the guy was in closer, not as far out.
Maybe, but I don't know. That one, yeah, the game-winning goal, I feel like he could have played that a little bit better. He should have made that save.
Yeah, and who was on the ice for the overtime goal and blew their coverage?
Yeah, okay, so let's talk about that real quick. So Jumbo goes in. I don't mind Jumbo going in. Jumbo going in makes plenty of sense to me.
I don't like Jumbo getting in that deep on the goalie because now it's a 4-on-3 essentially with the goalie playing the puck.
If he gets a stick on it, everyone's praising him. That's the difference, right? It's what have you done for me lately? And if he gets a stick on that puck, everyone's going, oh, great job by Jumbo, because there's no one over there. And the goalie has to play the puck. I don't mind that. What I do mind is apparently LeBanc was coming off the bench. I have to check that again because the replay that I saw,
it's hard to see.
Couldn't tell if he was coming off the bench or what. What I do know is LeBanc was skating towards the offensive zone as opposed to towards the players that were coming into the neutral zone, coming towards our offensive zone. So LeBanc, thinking too offensively there, I think, maybe should have just gone with, okay, where are the other guys on the ice? Pick them up instead. Carlson did what he could do. There's not much. I mean, it's 2-on-1. They're pretty wide. I think, again, Jones, I don't know why he slid into the butterfly, stayed there, and then the shot goes over him, obviously, that glove side. That glove side's his weakness, in my opinion. Like, that's the biggest weakness for Martin Jones is that glove side. I see it in practice all the time.
I thought he got a little bit better, sadly, this year with his glove hand. I feel like he worked on it in the offseason. Not to say it's good.
Okay.
I just think it's not as bad as it was last year.
I haven't noticed a big difference. I have noticed breakaways and whatnot. Now, let's take a look at that, too. In this game, there were a bunch of 2-on-1s, odd-man rushes. I think we saw a few of those, right? But, of course, no one says anything about those saves, right? It's all about the 2 chances that went in that he probably could have, should have had. I think he made a couple really big saves during this game. And I mean, is he the starter going forward? Let's go ahead and address that now. Is he the starter going forward? Has Dell taken that over? So I have my opinion. What do you think? You got the long side.
Right now, I think they're just playing the hot hand who's going to get the win, and right now Dell is. I just don't think Dell can sustain being a starter. Not that I don't think he should be. I just, from the past of what we've seen when he's had a heavier workload, he can't really handle it. So I think it's going to be 2 games. Like if there's 3 games, Dell's going to get the first 2, Jones will get the next one. So 2 games to Dell, 1 game to Jones. 2 games to Dell, 1 game to Jones. Kind of like that. That's why I see it playing out. So not quite a full-on starter.
I was going to say, do you feel that makes him the starter then?
I mean, sure, but he's going to play more games than Jones. But I don't think he can't be the guy where he's playing 3 out of 4 games. I don't think he can handle that yet.
Okay.
Or at all.
Okay.
So, sure. I mean, right now, whoever's going to get points.
Yeah.
As I did the split stats too, since DeBoer was fired and Bugner took over.
Disclaimer on these stats, by the way. Small sample size, obviously, right?
But it's
very small variances in the opponents and whatnot. So if this was over the course of like seasons, it might mean a little bit more. But
it's more. The only thing I saw interesting. I mean, his stats are better, obviously, because he's gotten wins. But the amount of shots coming in, he's played 1 more game. Dell's played 1 more game, 6-5. He's taken 190 shots, and Jones only has 133. That's a significant difference. In
60
one
more
extra
shots
game.
in 1 game. Yeah.
So Dell's seeing the puck more. And there was a stat thrown out, I can't remember exactly what it was, but when Dell has more than 36 saves or something, I think he's undefeated.
Really?
So when he gets a heavy workload in a game, he's really feeling and seeing the puck, and he plays better.
Well, that kind of goes. We've mentioned something like that on the show before, where specifically we were talking about Martin Jones at the time, saying I feel like if you give him just a handful of shots, he plays really poorly. If you give him the opportunity to feel the puck, give him a fair amount of shots on goal that he has to make the save on, even if they're just easy basic saves, I think he plays better during that game because he's kind of gets into it and he feels. I think most goaltenders are like that, though. I think most goaltenders they don't want to be sitting there standing around getting cold. It's great when your team has really good possession, but as the goalie, you're sitting there. If you faced 4 or 5 shots in a period, you've not seen much work. You're kind of just standing around. You're not really getting into the game. I think most goaltenders would like to feel the puck a little bit more. So that's interesting that you pull that up too.
Yep. At what point, this is from Nicholas Egan, at what point should Sharks decide if they are sellers or not? I think this is probably going to be a weekly topic.
Yeah.
Until they are sellers or not. So I said originally, I want to say 3 weeks ago, 2 or 3 weeks ago, we were talking about this. I said the All-Star game for me, if they're not in a position with the All-Star game, that's only about a month left between the All-Star break and the trade deadline. All-Star break's I think they always play the week before Super Bowl. So the last weekend of January. And then I think the trade deadline's the last week of February. So it's about a good month in between. I think somewhere in between there, they're going to figure out if they're sellers or not. If they don't make up ground quick, I think they should be selling. And then the question becomes, who are they going to sell? Because who can they sell?
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of no movement clauses on the bigger contract. So it'll be interesting to see who. And I've gotten some
Brendan Dillon.
I want to talk about that during the show too, during our episode. But
well, that's no secret. I mean, people have been talking about that for a while. Brendan Dillon seems to be the number 1 guy on the team that would be dealt. It seems like, he's got a very team friendly cap hit. He's been solid defensively, I feel, and guys around the league feel. And I think it was an article by Kurz where he was talking about he talked to some maybe scouts or somebody from other teams, and when I was saying like, this would be a guy that teams would be chomping at the bit to get a guy like Brendan Dillon. Especially going into playoffs, somebody who's very defensively minded, big guy, likes to hit, likes to be physical, that grindy type of playoff defense. So I could definitely see Brendan Dillon being kind of like the first guy out if that's the case. Now I'd hate to see him go. He's a great guy, and I think I like the way that he plays as well. So it would suck to see him go. But if it comes down to the Sharks just being sellers and they're not going to go any farther than that, then absolutely Brendan Dillon is kind of like the first guy on the checklist, and that's a compliment to him, if anything else. You know, like a lot of guys say, "Oh, trade Martin Jones, he sucks." First of all, again, we go back to this: if he sucks, no one's going to want to take him, right? This would be a trade Brendan Dillon because he's a solid player, and because he wouldn't want to re-sign necessarily, and you want to get something for that player in return. So, yeah, I think Brendan Dillon probably be the first guy out. Now, another interesting one though would be Aaron Dell. Mm-hmm. Aaron Dell has stepped his game up quite a bit. I think, you know, I hear people saying, oh, you know, like Jones got outplayed by, you know, Holtby or, you know, whatever the other goaltender is. I don't see that, like, a goaltender outplaying another goaltender. He could play better than. There's a difference. But I think on the same team, when you're talking about who's getting the starting role and whatnot, that goalie can outplay the other goalie on the same team, right? That to me makes more sense. I think Dell has absolutely been outplaying Martin Jones in those big save situations. He's been able to do that. So I could definitely see Aaron Dell being a guy who's got 1 year left on his contract right now. Could be dealt. He's kind of bringing his value up. You know, people are going on, it's almost $2 million. You know what, though? For a team that's going playoff mode.
Plus his salary goes down the more games
exactly.
He plays.
So
it's prorated, so it's less of a hit.
He could be a guy that would be on some teams' radars that have a good number one, a not so great backup.
I mean, we get like a 3rd or 4th round draft pick for Aaron Dell.
Yeah.
For a guy who was undrafted.
Sure.
Sharks signed. That's a
Love
pretty
it.
good turnaround. One other guy that's being thrown around here is LeBanc, and I think we trade. I'm at the point where I want to trade LeBanc and get another guy who was a 6th or 7th round draft pick. If you can get like a 2nd or 3rd round for that guy,
Yeah.
I'd be very happy for this upcoming draft because it's a deep draft.
I'd be.
And I just, from what I've seen from LeBanc, his attitude, his mess ups on the ice,
Yeah.
constantly, he
Yeah.
has not gotten better.
Yep.
I think he makes the team worse on the defensive side than he does make up for it with the offensive side.
Yeah, no doubt. But I also think that it's. I mean, he had that gaffe today. I think though, normally you're 5-on-5. I think he's been okay as part of the 5-man unit. I wouldn't say that I would trade him for a couple reasons. One, he's still an RFA, so you hold his rights. So though he can go to arbitration and whatnot, you still hold the guy's rights. He can't go anywhere else. If you want him to stay with you, he has to stay with you. So and again, $1 million contract. He could have asked for more. He could have gone somewhere else. I suppose if he asked for a trade, right? But he wanted to stick around. He wanted to have this prove it thing. Okay, well you haven't really proved it yet. So does that mean on the next contract you're going to go again, something fairly cheap? I wouldn't mind something fairly cheap for a guy who's just pure. His whole game is based around being offensive, being offensively minded. I don't mind that for a team that maybe has some goal scoring issues if he's still growing in terms of being able to put the puck in the back of the net.
I mean, imagine he gets traded to someone that has a lot of cap space, like Colorado.
Okay.
And he's the 3rd line winger in Colorado.
Yeah.
Maybe 2nd line,
Yeah.
but like a power play specialist on second power play, playing 2nd, 3rd line minutes.
Yeah.
I could see that happening,
Yeah.
And now Colorado has an abundance of riches with, I think, another draft pick coming up for this year's draft. Anyway, Lundy, $1.99, trade Dilly for Braun 2.0. Lundy's a big Braun fan, for those of you that don't know. Interesting here, I hear this a lot. Nicholas Egan. No matter what, Doug Wilson's job is on the line over the next year or so, in my opinion. I don't think so, and the reason why I don't think so, more to do with Hasso-Plattner.
Okay.
He's not a very hands-on owner. He's a very trusting owner. He trusts Doug Wilson. He also, he's German, I believe. He owns SAP. He's from Germany. He has a very German mind that I think it's very less American or very less even Canadian, I guess.
Okay.
He has a less of a "what have you done for me lately" type mentality. So, and where I got that from is people complaining about SAP Center being, I think it's the 4th oldest building in the NHL. And everyone's like, oh, we should demo it and build a new one. And he's like, what? Americans are so obsessed with demolishing everything that they've built and building something new when what they have is perfectly fine, and you just kind of, put some money into it and fix it up a little bit, which is what they've done. So to me, it's like, okay, I don't feel like he'd be the kind of guy that's going to be like, you know what, Doug Wilson, this year you did a horrendous job. You've been doing great for the last, I don't know how many years.
Yeah.
He's been there 15
Your entire
plus years.
tenure.
Right. I'm going to get rid of you now. So I think he's an owner that's willing to spend to the limit, to the cap limit. He doesn't really care.
Yeah.
He trusts the whole Wilson organization. I say the Wilson organization because I feel like he's the one that's more in charge for the day-to-day stuff. And Hasso's just, here's my money.
Yeah.
Make it, have fun, make it entertaining. Don't blow it,
Right,
whatever.
right.
But
the reason I laughed when that question popped up and when Aaron immediately said, I don't think so, is because I go back to when people were asking about DeBoer being on the hot seat.
I know.
And we're sitting here going, I don't think so. It doesn't make sense. And to be honest with you, again, I'm not really 100% convinced that DeBoer was the problem. I think, like what the players, and I think some of the players have mentioned this, basically that sometimes it's just the voice, right? Sometimes you just need a new voice. Like his message, or not even
Doug
his
Wilson
message.
said that before when he fired Ron Wilson.
Yes, but not even his message had gone stale. Just the voice.
He said sometimes you need a new teacher in the classroom is what he said.
Sure, but Buchner is essentially doing the exact same thing that DeBoer's doing, except he's tweaking things here and there, and he's putting more focus on, say, playing team defense.
I also think it's too late to completely change systems.
Sure.
That's probably the main reason why he's only doing tweaks.
Sure.
If he's the coach next year, I bet they're going to spend all of training camp learning a whole new system and playing differently than they are now.
Yeah.
That's my thing.
No, that totally could be the case. Now back to Doug Wilson, and if he's on the hot seat, I'm with you. Like I don't think so. Now I may be wrong. He may get fired tomorrow. Okay, I don't know, but I just don't think so. I take a look at the guy's track record, and I understand what he's doing when he's trading away picks, and he's bringing in talent like Evander Kane, right? Bringing in talent like Erik Karlsson, right? I mean, I would rather have those guys than the uncertainty of a first-round pick. Like, yes, the draft is deep. I get that. There have been lots of swings and misses, not just by the Sharks organization, but by every NHL team. They think they've got a guy that's going to be a stud in that first round, and it doesn't really pan out. Nason, for instance, 21st overall, I think, wasn't he?
Somewhere,
He's a first-round pick,
First
okay? Let's call it 21st. I think it was 21st overall. I mean, our picks have generally been higher than 21. We've had the latest picks of any NHL team on average, right?
Yep.
So if a Nason goes to waivers and ends up on the fourth line of a team that he didn't get drafted by, right? What makes you think that it's a solid... It's the go-to thing to do to hold your number one, or you're not number one, but your first-round pick that's going to be in the mid-late 20s. Now it may not be in the mid-late 20s, right? But generally speaking, that's when they're picking. They're picking, because they're a playoff team, like perennial playoff team. So, I don't know. I like what he does with those first-round picks. I like that he trades it away to get talent that's ready to win. And he keeps doing that, and the team is always in a ready-to-win mode. Now, they haven't won it all. Yes, I understand that. But there's 30 other teams that are going to lose. Every single year, there's 30 teams that are going to lose.
I mean, going back to
Does that mean 30 failures?
the 2015 NHL draft,
Yeah.
which was considered one of the deepest drafts.
Right.
Just looking in the first round, Dallas drafted a guy 12th overall. Past him, DeBrusk, Barzal, Shabbat, Svechnikov, Kyle Connor, all these guys. Colin White,
Yep.
Besser, Konechny, all these guys are in the NHL. Bouvelet. Anyway, this guy that Dallas took 12th overall has played a grand total of, I just had it up and then closed it. I think it was 22 NHL games.
And my
That's
point
it.
there, yeah.
He has a goal and 3 assists.
My point is there's uncertainty in a draft, okay? Yes, you can get a guy that blossoms with your team, you grow him into a really solid player, and he becomes a guy that plays for your franchise for years and years to come. Joe Pavelski, Logan Couture, Patrick Marleau until he got, he left and came back, right? I mean, those are the opportunities that you have for that, but there are times where it doesn't pan out. And I would rather take the guy that I already know is a solid, first, second line guy, and say Evander Kane or NHL hockey writers named Erik Karlsson the third best player of the decade. I would rather have that than the uncertainty of a 20-something overall pick. And again, that's on average. This season, not so much. But
Zach just said that Otto is laughing at us right now. Maybe, but look what happened. Everyone was laughing at Ottawa a year ago because they 2 years ago decided to pick Tkachuk 4th overall instead of possibly getting the lottery for 1st overall last season because Colorado had that pick.
Okay.
Colorado didn't win the lottery, so it was fine. Ottawa didn't. I don't think Colorado picked the player that was even the caliber of Tkachuk. So everyone was laughing at Ottawa the whole time because they're like, "Oh man, you don't have your lottery pick," and then Colorado ended up with it. But I don't know. Nobody's gonna laugh until Ottawa gets the number 1 pick or something in the lottery. Assuming the Sharks tank.
There'd be more crying than laughing.
Right. Sharks never picked 1st overall, ever.
Yeah.
Just crazy. At this point, how limited options are right now for the Sharks? Is it time to consider moving Burns to forward? No, I don't think it's going to happen. Yes, the Sharks need a right winger. Yes, he used to play right wing, but he's not conditioned to play right wing. He's conditioned to play on the ice as a defenseman. He's been there for years now at that position.
Yeah.
I don't think it would happen. I think I don't know. What do you think? What?
I don't move him to right wing, but I give him a game. I don't move him. He's not a right winger. I don't put him on right wing. I give him a game. You know why? For the reasons you just said. We need help at right wing depth, right? You've got guys that can play D. You've already got guys that can play D. It's not like you're giving up anything defensively by putting Brent Burns as a forward.
See, I think they should trade Brent Burns. I know. It's hard. He's a fan favorite. But Carlson's younger. Everyone's going to hate Carlson if they did it.
Yeah.
They would absolutely hate him.
Yeah.
Center your defense, your offensive defense around Carlson. Then you only have 1 offensive defenseman that makes defensive mistakes, not 2. Carlson's younger. He skates better. He's more of a playmaker.
See,
Burns has a good shot, but I hate to say it. I hate it because I love Brent Burns.
Yeah.
I love him. But I think he's on the decline, and I think you can get something for him, something big for him, going into next season, or a really top pick, or a top prospect, and a good pick,
Okay.
I just think, and then that clears up a lot of cap space.
Okay.
That clears up the muckiness of the back end. I know.
Okay.
Not a popular opinion. I know it's not.
Yeah.
I know it's not. And it probably won't be in the comments, but comments like that is what gets you unsubscribed from Scott Kemp.
Okay, no, stop, okay? Because the Finn factor is not saying Brent Burns needs to get traded.
Right.
Aaron is saying I could see it happening and it benefiting the team. That's all he's saying. Now, I'll actually go ahead and say that if they traded Brent Burns, imagine the haul, right, that we could get for him. And we were talking about this earlier, Brent Burns to get a Taylor Hall, but that's already said and done now. We could see something like that happening, getting that winger depth that we so desperately think that we need, right? But now, just imagine the haul that you could get for unloading a guy like Brent Burns. You can bring in quite a bit for him. You can get that first-round pick that you're looking for. You can get a right-wing prospect that you're looking for. You can get an NHL caliber, even if it's like the bottom pairing defenseman, somebody who's there, can be reliable and just play the game to backfill the spot that he left. Now, I'm not suggesting it. I'm not recommending it. I'm not hoping for it. I'm just saying, if we're talking about things that could be done to potentially help the team in areas that it needs help, okay, that's one option. Now, I think you give up quite a bit offensively from the blue line if you do that. You are right. There would only be one big offensive weapon that we would have to center everything around, but I kind of like that there's 2 big offensive weapons. At any point in time, you've got a team's going to have to deal with one or both of those players. So, again, not a popular opinion. I'm actually not a fan. I would rather keep him, but I understand where you're coming from, and I could see it, and I could see it benefiting the team. But I would rather have Burnsy.
Say it's a pure logic move and not a
totally, yeah,
heart move.
Absolutely, yeah.
I mean, you could say the same thing about Carlson. I just don't. Carlson has a full no movement clause. Burns can submit 3 teams that he can go to.
You just signed him.
It's so difficult, but you just signed Carlson.
Yeah.
That's the reason I don't see it happening.
People saying trade Vlasic.
There's some more of that too, but I think
get that.
I think Vlasic's even harder, and I think worse because I was in the trade Vlasic camp. I think in the beginning of the season to clear that up, but now it's like, man, you're trading away a defensive guy,
Yeah.
and bringing up some other guys that aren't as good as Vlasic defensively, and you have Burns and Carlson. Like, to me, that just doesn't make sense. I'd rather get rid of one of the two offensive weapons.
The Barracuda are, like, I think dead last in their division, maybe in their conference. I'm not sure. They're not playing well. There's not really a good prospect pool there that can jump straight into the NHL. Now, can they get better? Absolutely. Will it take more time? Absolutely. But there's not someone that you could unload a guy like Vlasic and bring anyone up and hope to sniff even close to the defensive capability that Marc-Edouard Vlasic has, specifically when you're talking about keeping Erik Karlsson, of course, and not letting him, go somewhere else.
Right.
That's Karlsson's partner, right? So he's going to have to relearn somebody else. It's going to be some guy who's either a rookie or Schimmick or somebody like that. So, that just, to me, there's just no way. And for Vlasic, let's remember what our record looks like when Vlasic doesn't play.
Yeah.
Right? We do not play well when Vlasic doesn't play. We saw it in the playoffs. We saw it early in the last season when he's not in the lineup. It's just ugly. Now Schimmick, when he's not in the lineup, there was a nice write up there from the Athletic where they showed how many wins and losses, and it is tilted, my friends. When Schimmick is in the lineup, the wins far outweigh the losses. When he's not, the losses far outweigh the wins. So he's a big piece of that puzzle. And it's not, I don't think it's him so much as what he brings to balance out the other pairings.
It's the stability.
Yeah,
it's stability
exactly.
to the lines.
He's just all reliable, right? And you could play him with Ferraro, and he's a reliable defensive presence that allows the rest of the guys to have the correct pairings that works for them. I think that's really what he brings.
People are blasting me.
Oh, yeah.
Public apology from Aaron, please, from Scott Kemp.
Hey, they paid for the dab.
There's some
I think the apology should be free.
There's some other ones saying Couture should be moved because you get a lot from him.
What? Okay.
I'm not saying
you can get a lot
Don't
for
kill the
anybody who's
messenger.
no. You can get a lot for anybody who's any good. Okay, you can get a good haul, but it doesn't make sense to me dropping your captain, your number one. You call him your number one center. I think you can at this point, right?
Oh,
Yeah. So you don't drop your number one center when one of your problems is you're not scoring goals. The bigger problem we had earlier was team defense, right? So if Brent Burns isn't really defensively responsible, sure, that's a guy that you can unload because you have another offensive threat on the blue line. That helps take care of your offense still, but then you're bolstering up the defensive end of it by getting a guy who's maybe a little bit more of a defensive presence, as well as bringing in a guy who can score, because that's what you'd be able to get for a Brent Burns. That solves problems. If you're unloading Couture, you're not solving a problem. You're just getting
Blowing up
stuff.
the team.
You're just getting stuff, right?
$5 from Ryan Sontag. Harness the fin factor tingles and get into the playoffs. I just don't see us taking this roster past the trade deadline. We need Doug Wilson to work his magic. There's still hope.
There's something's going to happen, I think, before the trade deadline that doesn't have to do with we're selling. I think there's going to be another move here because, again, like you said, 49 contracts. He doesn't want to sit on 49. So I feel like there's still something else that's going to happen. And it may be something small like just AHL, transactions to kind of balance the contracts back out. I don't know. But there's something else coming before we decide if we're sellers or buyers, I feel. Hopefully it's something that does put us on the right track. It'd be great to get a guy that can step in. Like, again, Nason, I'm more than impressed with him. I'm 100% happy with that pickup. And specifically that
it fits in.
It was free.
I think that helps solidify that fourth line very well.
And again, this is a guy that's got skill. He was a first round pick. Yep. He's got skill. And again, anybody who says, well, no, Paul, you're kind of wrong on that. He doesn't really have that much skill. He's playing on the fourth line. Well, then again, you've just proved my point on why I'd rather trade my first round pick. That's a late round pick. Again, not this year. Hindsight's 20/20, people. But I would rather trade the first round pick for a guy that's already NHL ready, NHL proven, and can help your team right now. That's me.
There's someone had said. Let me pull it back up here. Sorry.
Just gonna stare at the camera.
Where'd it go?
So
Talking about the Barracuda, how terrible they are.
Okay.
Barracuda's not doing very well.
No.
and this is kind of related to that. It was, man, where did it go?
I know they've been
There's
losing
a lot
games.
of comments going on here. Sorry.
They've been losing games big, like 5-1, I think, was one of the scores that they had, and it's just been
Anthony Sanchez. Hate to say it, but I think Sharks waved Jones. His body language after the OT goal today says, I'm done.
His body language said, I'm frustrated. That's what his body language said. Okay, a lot of people are saying he looks like he's just done. He looks like just stunned or whatever, shocked.
Yeah.
I just think he's just really frustrated. I mean, come on, guys. If you were up 4-2 with a minute left in the game, and then, circumstances happen, right? Sometimes just bad things do happen. Again, it was a clearing attempt that just didn't get out. If that clearing attempt gets out, we're not doing this show with this what do you call it? Temperament or whatever you want to call it. Look, even if we win that game, that's 6 points out of 8. 5 points out of 8 isn't that bad. Now, is it a collapse? Yes. Does it suck? Yes. Does it sting? Absolutely. Is it that big of a deal when we talk about the grand scheme of things regarding points and points races? It's 1 point. Now, every point does count. I'm not trying to discount that. Gotta clear my throat. but 5 out of 8 is not that much different from 6. I think they did a pretty good job on the week. And again, we're focusing on the one thing, but in this show, we try to look over the course of, a longer stretch of period, or a longer stretch of time.
Yep.
And I think, when you look over that stretch, the week, I don't think they did as bad as just that last minute where everyone remembers is kind of dictating right now.
Kyle Hipwell is a Timo fan, and he's been asking a bunch of questions about Timo.
Oh,
What we think
poor
about Timo.
Kyle.
Sorry, and he's mad because I haven't been able to talk about him yet. But
Okay.
zero mentions of Timo with a sad face.
Okay.
Timo is kind of on my list of guys that
Trade
we should
list?
trade. Yeah. I'm sorry. He's so up and down, and to me, the two guys in the locker room are LeBanc and Timo that should have stepped up and have not, and I feel like they're getting ragged on a little bit. Couture was a couple games ago had said when he's by name,
the
right?
bad change.
By name though,
Yeah.
Timo, when he plays well, we do well. When he plays terrible, we do terrible. Like he needs to be
him.
consistent. We
Need
need
to
him
get
every
going.
night. He can't take a night off. So he's still young, thankfully.
Yeah.
He can still correct this, but he hasn't been, and it's frustrating because we saw the other night he had 3 goals and an assist. He had 4 points in one game.
Yeah.
And then what? They went to Detroit
Yeah.
and got shut out. He needs to be consistent.
Okay, see, now, and again, there's that word again, consistent, right? Now, I have a problem with that word, and the reason I have a problem with that word is because no one can ever be truly consistent. If you're consistent, you're scoring 82 goals a season. That's inconsistent because sometimes he got hat tricks, right? So that means he went a stretch of 4 or 5 games without getting a goal at certain points. Does that make him streaky goal scorer? No, he's still prolific, one of the best goal scorers the game has ever seen. So Timo, back to Timo now, he scores a hat trick. That's all well and good. Now I'm not asking for consistency, but I don't like using the term a streaky scorer. But when you load everything that you have in one game and then everything before it and everything after it, it's just kind of like you're a ghost. Where have you been, right? That's my problem. I don't mind streaky. I'm using air quotes here. Streaky scoring. I don't mind, scoring a goal here and then a couple games off and then a goal there and a couple games. As long as your game is kind of consistent. If you're getting the chances, you're generating offense, if you're being responsible in your own zone, that's kind of like the big thing for me was defensive responsibility. Not just for Timo, but for the team. And I think that they've gotten a lot better at that underneath Bob Bugner. But with Timo, it seems like sometimes he's on and sometimes he's way off. And then he'll have a game where he gets a hat trick. And then sometimes he's there, and then other times he is way off. And that's what I mean by consistency. Consistency in your play, not consistency in your ability to put the puck in the net. Because the puck's not always going to go in, and that's totally okay. But if you're getting your chances, that's what I ask of you. Because when we saw this last season when Erik Karlsson just got there, was he was getting opportunities.
Now you're back.
Okay, so we had a little issue there, but basically what I was saying was, I think Timo, easy. I think Timo, it's not a message. It's not about consistency in terms of putting the puck in the net. It's about consistency in the way that he plays. There are times where he's just not there, and we need more out of him than that. I need consistency in your style of play.
Right. Thank you, Chris, for the $5. Talking about needing right wing depth earlier, how long until we see Shemlevsky make his debut? Since his injury to start the season, he has been great.
Oh, has he?
I wouldn't say great. I just looked it up. I mean, he's not terrible, but he's not. It's not like he's lighting up the AHL right now. Okay. Looking at his game log.
Okay.
Last 2 games, nothing, a -2. Goal and assist the game before that. 1 goal before that, nothing. Assist, goal, nothing. So it's not like he's leading the team.
See, but what you just said was, I heard point, nothing, point, nothing, point. If he's getting, that's not bad.
It's not terrible.
I would take that.
I just don't know if he's ready because I haven't watched him, but I don't know if he's ready for the NHL just yet.
Yeah.
I mean, he's only played. You said he was hurt. Where is he? I just lost him.
Yeah,
he's got 20 games of AHL experience plus a handful before.
That said that? Who's the guy?
Christopher Lindsay.
Chris, it was his ankle or something, wasn't it? I thought something was wrong with his foot.
Yeah.
That kind of sucks because if you can't skate, you're kind of done, right? So, but no, I like the guy a lot. I think he brings a lot of skill. Is he ready for the NHL? I don't know. The only one way to find out, throw him in the lineup and see if he sinks or swims.
Thoughts on Mario Ferraro so far this season?
Love him. Absolutely love him.
I think he's a surprise, a good
Big
surprise. I don't think he was ready for the amount of minutes he was going to get. I thought he was going to get a little more sheltered, and I think he's looked great. I think he's a good skater. I think that helps. That's part of his game. He hits. That's part of his game. Mm-hmm. He has some skill with the puck. He's not stone hands,
Oh, yeah.
So I think he's not perfect. Nobody's perfect, but he's not like how Vlasic was when Vlasic first came on the team.
Right.
He does make some mistakes, some rookie stuff, which is totally fine. It's expected. But I think he's exceeded expectations.
Can you look up his overall, what he was drafted? Ferraro, I think if a lot of folks would look at him and look at his game and just kind of say, well, he's not that good. He's not as good as whatever. This is a guy that's stepping in the NHL in his first season, in the NHL, and he's playing really, really well. Again, confidence with the puck. I think a lot of people had mentioned how he was really good defensively, and I've noticed more that he's really good offensively. And again, with the hitting and whatnot, that was a surprise to me. That a guy like Ferraro, who I look at and I go, man, that guy's got some pretty good offensive skill. All of a sudden, I see him throwing the body around. That's just something that he does. So
2nd round pick in 2017.
Exactly, that's what it was. 2nd round pick. Okay, so for a guy that was a 2nd round pick,
it's a high pedigree.
Yeah, no doubt. And again, I like his game. I like his attitude. I like everything he brings to the rink. Everything he brings to the team. Again, offense, defense. He does it all. I'm really excited to see how this kid blossoms and grows. Now, is he, a top NHL caliber defenseman right now? No, because he's still a rookie. Give him time to grow. But I think for where he was picked, for his age, for his experience level, you can't ask for much more than that. I mean, this guy is he's a rock star, I think. So, again, hoping that in the next couple seasons, he blossoms into the player that I think he can be. And, I mean, if that's the case, man, what a pickup for the Sharks. So,
yep.
Yeah, really like his game.
When I said great, I meant in comparison to a Barracuda team that has really been struggling. Okay. I mean, that's fair.
Okay.
Not saying he was terrible. I haven't watched him play.
That's 2 apologies that Aaron owes you guys.
It's less about the offense really for me. It's more about the 200-foot game.
Okay.
Because that'll stick him in the lineup.
Yeah.
If he can do that.
Well, LeBanc can do it. That's what I'm saying.
LeBanc is supposed to be a top 6 forward. He's constantly being put on the 3rd line.
Yes.
Because he's not stepping up and playing a 200-foot game.
So if LeBanc can not step up and not play 200 feet and can still play on the 3rd line, Shmalyevsky can do it.
Sure. Ferraro's a stud and will replace Dylan. That's what I think. I think if they trade Dylan, that bottom pair is going to be Heed and Ferraro probably.
You know what, though? I really do like Heed with Shimmick.
Yeah?
I really do like that pairing.
Well,
they're
just
both
frees
young.
Up another defenseman, you got to bring up somebody, right?
They're both young. They both hit. which is great.
Mm-hmm.
But one of them is still more defensive, and one of them's a little bit better offensively. But he still does well defensively. I think Ferraro brings the whole thing. But I do like that package. I like the two of them together. And I again, looking forward to seeing how they continue to blossom on the team. So.
Zach Croft, going into the game on Tuesday in St. Louis, what should Bugner work on with the team to get them prepared? Play a full 60 minutes.
Yes.
Their game today looked great up until that last minute of the game.
And it's just imagine Bugner. Play a full 59 minutes and forget about the last minute.
But I feel like every game is play a full 60.
Yeah, for sure.
You guys have spurts, and you're not
100%.
consistent, and you can't. Philadelphia was practically the only game that we saw a full 60 minutes.
There's three things really what it comes down to for me, right? The full 60 minutes. So play your game for the full 60 minutes, okay? Don't ever back off and give up. Whatever. When you've got a 2-goal lead, they pulled the goalie, and you're trying to dump the puck out. If you see your teammate trying to dump the puck, don't leave the zone early to try to get the empty net goal. And I'm sure Patrick Marleau wasn't thinking to try to be greedy. I'm sure he was just thinking, when he flips the puck out, I'll be there to get it so that they can't. But for me, that there needs to be a little bit more responsibility in terms of, we're already up by 2. Even if they get the puck in the neutral zone, who cares?
Yeah.
We're up by 2. Don't leave the zone, right? So, I don't know. Again, for me, it's just kind of like that defensive responsibility. And that's been something that Bugner's been working on a lot with them. And I'm sure it's going to be part of his message, Zach, is remember to stay the course when it comes to playing the system, the team defense. Do not deviate from that. We go down 1-0 early in the first. Do not try to go out there and score that goal all on your own. Stick to what works. Stick to the system. Don't try to be a cowboy and go out there and do it yourself, okay? That's number one. Number two, when you do get your chances, you got to bury them.
Yeah.
You can't wait to pull the trigger. Unload that puck. You got to have that puck movement. You got to have the players moving. You got to have the player in the goaltender's eyes. I think there was one Holtby had no chance on today. He may as well have had a blindfold on and tried to save this puck, because I think the puck went in and he was still like this.
Yeah.
Just like
That
staring.
was the Kane goal.
Yeah.
Because it bounced right to him. I think it was a hat trick.
Yeah, I think it was number 3.
It was interesting because you see it. The puck, it got blocked.
Yeah.
And it went right to his stick, and he just shoveled. He didn't even really shoot it. Just kind of just pushed it, and Holtby
But
never
on the
saw
shot, Holtby's screening, and he's like trying to find it, and he's waiting for the shot to hit him, and he's kind of like, okay. It's like you're waiting for something to happen, and it just never happened. And Holtby's sitting there waiting like, where's the puck? And all of a sudden the puck goes in the back of the net. I don't even think he saw it. He had no clue it was in the back of the net. He was just staring straight ahead like, what happened to the first shot? He didn't realize there was a second one. Mm-hmm. Again, get the opportunities. You got to bury those chances. That doesn't mean every shot you take has to go in. But you can't, Detroit, you can't go a whole game and get shut out.
Dude, that game was so boring on both sides, not just the Sharks, man.
To be fair, 1-0, okay? They only let the one goal in.
It wasn't like there was a lot of chances and the goalies were making save after save. It was just a boring game.
Fair enough, and that's what I'm
saying. It seemed like
saying.
both teams didn't want to be there.
That's what I'm saying now. So when you get those offensive opportunities, someone really got to step up and bury in that. And I'm hoping that Timo is kind of that guy at some point here, because I'd like to see him get going.
Yeah.
Like you said, if Timo can get going, like Couture said,
right,
the whole team tends to play better, right? So for me, it's full 60 minutes, strong defensive effort. And then I must have misnumbered it because I think that was number 2. Full 60 minutes, strong defensive effort, and then bury those opportunities when you have those grade A chances. So if they can do those things, and of course that's a recipe for success for any team in this league. But again, for the Sharks, those are kind of like the main focuses.
Interesting question here. We're going to shift now.
Ooh.
Can we get a tour of the memorabilia on the side table and the back wall? Completely different.
Okay.
Yes, you can, but as we do that,
Yes.
roll call. Tell us where you're watching and how you found us. Want to start behind you? We'll go from left to right.
So this was a newer addition to the set because I found it. It's that second gen Sharks jersey. It's got the weird teal in the you can see like the striping is kind of interesting. So it's just my jersey. I just happened.
I remember
to bring
that was
it.
like the Owen Nolan era.
So and funny you brought that up because guess what I found?
I think he's in that picture wearing it.
Guess what I found?
Owen Nolan?
My Owen Nolan signed teal. Yeah, I know. I'll bring it in sometime. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
What's it doing in your house?
It's I don't know.
In a drawer?
But it's not authentic. It doesn't say like size 52. It's like size large or whatever. But it's an Owen Nolan jersey. It's
Why
got
do you
his
guys
name
say that?
sitting
They
there.
wouldn't have known.
I'm just come on, man. Hey, I'm real. I'm real. No. So anyway, then there's this jersey here. This is actually Super Producer Jason's, I believe. And then the other jerseys, and we'll get to the rest of the stuff.
Sure.
The Shark Freak, which was a giveaway from this season, the 11th of this month. There is the Open Water jersey, which is the gray one. Take a look. You'll see it on the site if you haven't seen it on Twitter already. That's also the night that Joe Pavelski makes his return to SAP for the first time as a visitor, which is kind of cool.
Yep.
And then go ahead and tell them about that
This
one.
is my jersey. I've actually bought this on eBay because I wanted Ulf Dahlin was my first favorite shark, and I wanted a jersey. So I looked on eBay years ago, and someone, I think it might have even been in Canada, I think it's from Vancouver, had it. So
That's authentic right there.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
So I got it, and I love it. And it's disgusting because it's got stains all over it, and they're not from me.
Yeah,
so,
the letters aren't really white anymore. They're kind of gray.
Yeah.
Maybe a little
You can
yellow.
see.
No, let's not do that. Okay, anyway, so then you've got the picture here. This is Aaron with Mark Smith at was it Mountain Charlie's?
Mount Charlie's.
Yeah, and the
It's kind of, is that cut off or is it in the frame?
I don't know if it's in there. Yeah,
Right.
and the young woman in the middle there is a friend and a waitress at the time. Is that correct?
Yeah, my friend who was
yeah.
a waitress, yeah.
Which, by the way, if you've not seen our episode with Mark Smith, if you haven't seen our episode with Mark Smith, go ahead and take a look in our interviews. What's it called? Playlist.
Yeah.
And you'll see it in there. And he actually
He
addresses
signed it, yeah.
this image. And yeah, of course he signed it. He signed it classic. So he's got some funny stories and stuff that he told in there as well. So definitely a good watch. Before you go and do that, though, don't leave us. There's the captains, Owen Nolan and Doug Wilson. Number 195 of 250 or 199.
Yeah.
199 of 250. Wow, that's pretty.
Somebody
sweet.
else
How
had
did we
one of
get
these. Somebody, some friend lent it to us, so
Oh,
we
okay.
don't technically own it. They're gonna
Okay.
take it back at some point, but
that? By the way, if
It's-
there's anything that you guys want us
Yeah.
to show on the show, we don't steal your things. So we'll
right,
happily,
we'll give them back whenever you want.
We'll
them.
happily give them back. If we have to ship it, I think you need to have the.
And if
give
you
us
want
the
to,
shipping, but
if you want to donate it to us, and you don't want
Oh, yeah.
it anymore, we will give it away. We do give away at the end of the season.
Yeah.
And we'll give away, not all of this stuff, but some of the stuff
Yeah.
that's not ours.
Yeah, we gave away quite a few bobbles and that
Yeah.
kind of thing. I think I might have some extra jerseys I might throw out to you guys.
Yeah,
as
we
well.
actually we went to San Pedro Market and
Yeah.
did a meetup kind of.
People
during lunch.
lined up.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It was nuts.
We didn't think we were that popular.
No.
But free
Thanks,
bobbleheads will
guys.
do that for you,
Made
I
me
guess.
feel good, you know.
Yeah.
Anyway, so then this one here, actually, my dad had this from their inaugural season, and it was just kind of cool that it's got like the how to do the chomp thing in there. I don't know if you can see this thing over here. It was just like a page from in there that shows you how to do the chomp because they're a new franchise. And so they're just teaching people what to do. It's
Right.
kind of cool. So, and of course they have the napkins and everything in there too. It says $35 and it's actually not for sale. It's just my dad bought that, something like that, I don't know. But anyway, so that's just from a very long time ago. Now the baubles and everything
You don't have
else.
to go through them all,
Actually, yeah. So these are baubles that we've just collected from all the giveaways and whatnot that we've had. The Timo Time alarm clock, which when he wasn't scoring, we folded it straight down on him, and he got the hat trick shortly thereafter. We put it back up. I have a feeling it's going to go back down pretty soon, though. We've also got the bowling pin, which was from a friend.
So random.
I mean, come on, it's a bowling pin. I'm gonna, that's awesome.
Here's
And then the bottle of wine that
we
we
got a
there.
bottle of wine.
Yeah.
This is one of the newer ones. I'll put it in the middle there. You can
Nice.
see it's cool.
And
picture.
of course, the Fin Factor Season 2. Now, if you guys have been with us for a long time, you've seen the Season 1 that we had up there. Basically, as we get more and more people on the show that we're interviewing, Randy Hahn, Doug Wilson was a big one, Dan Ruzanowski, Jamie Baker from this season was awesome. We're just basically having them sign the image here for us, or what do you call it?
Frame.
The border, the frame? Yeah.
Frame.
Okay, we're just having them sign that. So we've got Season 1 somewhere around here, and just kind of like for us, to have. So almost like an accomplishment kind of thing, I guess. I mean, I'm
Right.
proud of it. So, I mean, who knew? A couple guys that were just interested in talking about the Sharks, and we've got no real affiliation.
And we
with
have a
them,
baby
right?
shark.
Yes, and then a baby shark.
Do.
Don't you
Baby
start.
shark.
If you super chat him, he'll sing it in full glory. So
No, I will
just see
not.
what-
That's the only part I know.
Okay, good. I think that's the whole song. Anyway, yeah. So, any other comments or questions? I know we're getting pretty close to time here. So,
For from Kyle Hipwell, who I think is doubling as Timo's mom, because he is such a super fan of Timo. Aaron, how come you're so skeptical of Timo? You wanted to trade him, talking about clock not being up long. Come on, man. It's more of I don't want to trade him. I still think he's young and he's gonna turn things around. It's more of Timo is just is a bad example. I'm sorry. Okay, I'm sorry. LeBanc though, get him out of here.
I think Timo's a guy you can get a real good haul for him because again,
Yeah.
he's young. He's shown what he can do. I just think that he's one of those guys that needs to be a little bit more consistent in the way that he plays. Not consistent in terms of putting the puck in the net. I don't think that's fair to ask that of anybody because even a guy like I said, like Ovechkin, who scores like 50 goals, if he gets a hat trick, that means he's not consistent for a handful of games. So yeah, I don't think it's fair to ask for consistency when it comes to goal scoring. I think consistent play. If you're doing the right things, that's all I can ask for.
Sure. $2 from Ryan Sontag. This is
Oh.
Baby Shark.
Well, no, see, he said no already. He said no already. I'm sorry, guys.
Paul knows the words
I
better
try.
than I do.
It's Baby Shark. Do.
No, we do the whole thing at home. That's
Oh gosh.
my mother-in-law did not like the grandma.
You know what's
one.
hilarious?
She's like, "Oh, that's terrible."
So they're money to dab, money to sing. We're just dance monkey.
Seriously,
right?
that's exactly what I
All right,
feel
I'm gonna
like.
put the team of time clock back up before he asks us to do something else. Anyway, yeah. Any other last minute ones?
The 49ers are playing the Vikings on Saturday.
Cool. It has nothing to do with anything that I care about. So, with that, we'll go ahead and plug the merch real quick.
Sure.
So we've got hats. If you visit our store on the finfactor.com, the three little lines on the top says support the show because that is what you're doing. You're helping us keep the lights on and us giving away baubles and that kind of thing. So it helps with all of that stuff as well. So there are hats, there are shirts. We have white. I'm sorry, we don't have white. We have gray, we have black, and we have teal. We also have a black deep V-neck for the women's shirts, and we also have stickers as well, which look great on canteens and whatnot, or laptops, as you've come to find out. So that's everything for the store and whatnot. So again, thank you guys for the super chat money. That also helps us quite a bit. I know we've been talking about it a few times, but we are looking at getting into our Studio B, and it seems like we're going to be getting in there hopefully sometime soon, maybe. This is my cue to super producer Jason. No? Maybe. Anyway, so what we'll do is we'll just say thank you guys for all of that, all your support, and for the questions and the comments. We do appreciate you guys stopping in, saying what's up to us. I know it's been a rough go, but this week actually wasn't so bad. The last minute of the last game that we played, not so great, but you know what? 5 points out of a possible 8 against a stretch of teams that were pretty solid. Detroit notwithstanding, I would say fairly successful road trip so far.
We'll wrap it up here, but real quick, Anthony Sanchez wants to know if you go to practices, and is there any yelling?
Tons.
Yeah, you go to practice.
So, okay.
Okay.
On the rink, there's a lot of yelling. If you mean by coaching staff, not so much. Not that I've heard. I know Pete DeBoer, I told you that time. He went off on Radil, who is not with the Sharks anymore. He's with the Barracuda. As far as the fans yelling and whatnot, yeah, sometimes you get a couple fans. There's a couple individuals that I've come to know as the people that like to yell. And I like those folks because they kind of get the crowd going.
Cheering them on?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like when he shoots and scores or whatever, like, yeah, or Jones makes a big save. Way to go, Jonesy! They're the yellers from the bleachers. And it's kind of cool because it's like, the other kind of like the standout ones, they kind of get everybody else a little bit looser and feeling like they can say something. So it's fun. So we appreciate the yellers if you're out there.
We got some questions about goaltending. We're going to cover that in our episode that we're going to record. We're going to stop this and we're going to record an episode that will come out on Tuesday. So be sure to check out our episode. And thoughts on the recent first line, we'll cover that as well. Sorry if we didn't get all of your questions.
Yeah.
And do we win against the Blues? We'll cover that because we look at the week ahead. So please watch our episode when it comes out on Tuesday. And we're going to get going to record that right now.
And it'll answer a lot of your questions.
Yes.
So there you go.
So thank you for watching, and please like and subscribe.
For Super Producer Jason, I'm Paul.
I'm Aaron.
And we will see you guys
On Tuesday.
Tuesday. Bye-bye.
Bye.